Hey, what's up, y'all? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show of your 24-hour day. I'm Brendan Avin, your host. To my left is my co-host, Rashad Pinnell. To my right, my co-host, Khalid Lewis. We're bringing KBR Sports to you every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Thanks to y'all that are tuning in today. We have a whole slate of topics for y'all, starting with, the Kevin Durant and Stephen A. Smith situation, then going to the whole NFC East situation, the Colts winning without Andrew Luck, and about the Cardinals losing to the Rams in an upset victory today. Are they still the best of the West? So we'll get right into it with Kevin Durant and Stephen A. So Kevin Durant recently some comments that Stephen A. Smith had made about him, saying that because Stephen A. had initially said that Kevin Durant was, he came on First Take on about Tuesday afternoon and said Stephen A. was, or he said Kevin Durant was interested in going to the Lakers in the offseason when he experienced his free agency. So, along with Miami and Washington, D.C., where Kevin Durant's from, but he said that, don't rule out the fact that he could possibly be interested in going to Los Angeles, where his teammate, Russell Westbrook, went to UCLA and is from. And in a year after Kevin Durant would leave in free agency or possibly leave in free agency, Russell Westbrook could follow him also. So Stephen A. Smith was reporting the fact that he could show interest in the Los Angeles market and could possibly go to Los Angeles. So then Kevin Durant responds in an exact quote: "I don't talk to Stephen A. Smith at all. No one in my family, my friends do. So he's lying. He made it up." So he pretty much calls out Stephen A. and comes for his credibility. And Stephen A. responded yesterday on First Take. He used a whole 20-minute segment, so I'm gonna have to just kind of paraphrase what he said and summarize it. But he pretty much said that who is Kevin Durant to come out to say that he's lying, and
to how does his credibility?
Yeah, and how does Kevin Durant know who he has and has not talked to? Because Kevin Durant might want to recheck with who his close friends and family apparently he thinks that Stephen A. hasn't talked to, because over the weekend, Stephen A. even got phone calls from these same exact friends and family telling Stephen A. that, hey, y'all don't need to be beefing over stuff like this. Y'all don't need to have this issue. And Stephen A. pretty much took offense to it because he's like, you're calling out my credibility. And for a journalist, that's all they have. Mm-hmm. So he pretty much he summarized, there are a lot of people putting out there that Stephen A. pretty much threatened Kevin Durant. Me personally, I didn't see it as a threat, but he said that you don't want to make it. I'm not your enemy, but you don't want to make an enemy out of me when it comes to this journalism stuff. So I'll start off with you, Rashad. What do you think about Kevin Durant's comments, Stephen A.'s response to it? Like, what do you think about the whole thing, and Kevin Durant just in general, how he's felt about the media in recent weeks?
You see, that's what I was going to bring up. How he actually feels when the media do come. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like the Marshawn Lynch of the NBA in a sense, except he speaks. But he speaks because he has to. He explains that he has to speak, so he speaks so he don't get fined. See, Marshawn Lynch on the other hand doesn't speak at all. Mm-hmm. But it's clear to see that Kevin Durant's short-tempered person, especially when it comes to the media. Mm-hmm. When it comes to stuff about his work-related issues, he's short-tempered about it. So I can understand someone who gets mad about someone talking about what they're gonna do, because at the end of the day, he still probably doesn't even know what he's gonna do. So for people to already create stories before the season already come, that which brings complications and drama throughout the season, is what he probably don't want. So him coming for the media, coming for Stephen A. like that, I can understand why he's doing it, what he's doing it for, what he believes is right, what he don't want to talk about. But at the same time, it's still a journalist job or the media's to get the information out for the people to know. Mm-hmm. Even though it's not a year away, 2 years away, 3 years away, no matter how long it is, it's the media's job to get that information out. Mm-hmm. I mean, even when LeBron, as soon as he went to Miami, there was, media trying to figure out, all right, where are you going to next? And he just got there. So, I mean, there's always stuff going on. There's always going to be stuff going on years in advance. It don't matter how close it is. There are always going to be people talking about it. So, I mean, that's just something you have to get used to. I mean, Durant is still technically young, but so Well, he's technically young, so he's. I'm not sure he's accustomed to everybody talking about his career. Like, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do when he's just trying to focus on winning a championship with the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Okay, wait. Okay, so Khaled, what do you think about it then? What do you think about what he said?
I do think Stephen A. Smith isn't coming for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, yeah, he doesn't do well with reporters and stuff. His comments, what he said that I don't talk to Stephen A. and my family don't, or my friends. Um, I mean, he just felt like that. He felt like that people were trying to basically say, trying to basically say what his career is going to be, I guess, or if he was going to like take this move to no a possible move to the L.A. Lakers, and he hasn't even thought about like what he's going to do, like when he becomes a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
But Stephen A. Smith made a great point. He said if you didn't sign a contract to the Oklahoma City Thunder for years and years to come, you're basically alluding to the fact that you're going to become a free agent or that you're thinking about free agency.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Kevin Durant felt like he was being attacked, but in all sense, Stephen A. Smith was just reporting what he heard and what he felt like, that what he's been told, that people have been whispering in his ear. I mean, and then he says, Stephen A. Smith says that he doesn't have to talk to you to report about you, and that's a fact.
That's true.
That's a fact. As a journalist, you don't really have to go up to the person and be like, "What's going on with your life?" or whatever. This, that,
Yeah.
third, especially in sports.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your job as a sports analyst and a journalist to report on people, even if they don't want to be reported on.
Yeah.
So I feel like Stephen A. Smith, he's in the right position. Just Kevin Durant he just felt like he's being attacked, and he just needs to relax.
But see, for me, I don't even understand where he would think he's being attacked, or where he felt like he needed to come and defend himself. Because it's not like Stephen A. It'd be different if Stephen A. Smith had said something about Kevin Durant's character or something like that. All he said is that you have interest in the Los Angeles Lakers. What free agent doesn't have interest in the Los Angeles Lakers? They're probably
the second biggest market in America.
In America,
It's
you know what I'm
probably
saying?
more so the fact that you consider him a free agent. Cause you know what I'm saying? Like,
But
maybe
it's true.
okay, yeah. It's true, but at the same time, maybe you don't want to sign the contract extension right now because he don't want what happened to him, what happened to Damian Lillard.
No, but also, I understand why he's not signing the contract extension right now, because it's more money in free agency if he waits to sign it. It's like a good $20-something million difference if he signs the contract extension now, if he signs it later. So it makes sense for him to wait till free agency. But don't get upset if somebody reports that, or
you're thinking about it.
that you're thinking about going to the Lakers, because when you become a free agent, he said he wants to explore his free agent options. So Kevin Durant could have also came out and said, "Hey, I'm just interested in staying. I'm focused on Oklahoma City right now. I respect what Stephen A. is saying, but I'm just focused on Oklahoma City." You don't have to attack the man's credibility.
But I mean, you get when you're not a free agent and stuff like that comes up, you get tired of probably hearing stuff like that. You tired of, because technically to him, Stephen A. is media in his eyes.
Stephen A. is media. But LeBron didn't do the same thing when LeBron was a free agent.
But LeBron isn't like what's the name, Kevin Durant. But they have different personalities.
But it came out of nowhere with Kevin Durant. Like this has been this way. Like in this quote from early in February, around the All-Star break, he said, "You guys really don't know expletive about basketball." He said, "To be honest, man, I'm only here talking to y'all because I have to. So I really don't care. Y'all not my friends. You're going to write what you want to write. You're going to love us one day and hate us the next. That's just a part of it. So I just learned how to deal with y'all." That's him talking about the media.
That's his idea viewpoint on the media, no matter who it is. So I feel so.
And then he also said, when he talked about like the media is voting towards All-Star and awards, he said, "Yeah, I think the media and guys get too much power to vote on stuff like that. Quite frankly, I don't think you really know a lot about, or as much as we know about it as in basketball. So yeah, we play against these guys every single night. We battle against these guys. We know what they say on the court. We know how they handle their teammates. We know how they approach the game. And our votes should count. Our opinions should count. Like I said, I don't think you guys know as much as we do, and I don't see why you have more power than we do." It's been like his whole career has been nothing. The media has done nothing. It'd be different if this was Russell Westbrook. because Russell Westbrook was criticized so heavily throughout the beginning part of his career. And then until this year, people didn't appreciate Russell Westbrook for the player that he is until Kevin Durant was hurt. Kevin Durant has got nothing but love from the media throughout his whole career. So it makes no sense. No, but it makes no, but he's talking about the media as if they done something wrong to him. As if they come at him on the regular, as if they've done something to him. The media is the one that voted him the MVP. He was the reigning MVP when he said this. So you're saying this, you're saying the media doesn't know nothing about basketball, and then you know, granted, yes, he's right that not that the media doesn't know anything about basketball, but basketball players have a different perspective on basketball because they played. But if you're telling me that somebody needs to have played basketball to understand basketball, so what are you going to say about the Spurs owner, general manager? Because they didn't play basketball and they built a championship team. So you're trying to tell me only people that play basketball understand basketball and know how basketball works. Some head coaches, I'm pretty sure, have not played basketball but still understand how basketball works. So you can't just say, oh, y'all don't know what y'all talking about because you don't know basketball. And then Stephen A. doesn't even say anything about your character or your anything, but you're going to come for his credibility. And his pretty much what his job is predicated on is his credibility. And Stephen A.'s been one of the reporters. He's the one that broke the LeBron James coming to Miami story. And he's the one that initially, a year ahead of time, told everybody if LeBron James might come home. I'm warning y'all, he might come home and leave Miami. He said it a year ahead of time. And it ended up being true. And Kevin Durant says that about the media, about y'all don't know nothing about basketball. So he says that at a press conference about Scott Brooks, right? Because he got defensive about Scott Brooks. Said that in February. Scott Brooks got fired in April. So if the media knows nothing about Scott Brooks or about basketball, when they ask you questions about Scott Brooks, it just so happened they were right.
But are you sure the media's power did influence his fire though?
No, I mean
he still was a team. He was like Durant said, he was winning over 65% of their games and everything.
He was.
They always
he was gonna
just because it's hard to win a championship.
No, it's hard to win a championship, but it's different. It depends on how your team, if your team is progressing or not progressing. The Heat, Eric Spoelstra was never going to get fired because they constantly went to the championship and won a championship. Scott Brooks got to the finals, hasn't been since. Granted, injuries play a part in it, but when people can notably see that your offense consists of Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant just dribbling, and those guys aren't going to come out and say something about their coach. But then when you come for the media's integrity and said they don't know what they're talking about, you're pretty much disrespecting their intellect. And you're saying it's different if you can stand up for your coach. There's nothing wrong with that. You can say, hey, that's my coach, that's my man's. But then when you say that people don't know nothing about basketball and they just voted you the
basically
MVP,
shooting down what they worked hard to basically do the whole time they're reporting on you and stuff like that. So you're just shooting down their whole research and everything they put into just reporting.
You know what I mean? And so it's funny that the media doesn't know anything about basketball when y'all don't want them to ask you questions about topics you don't like. But then when it comes to things about you guys getting publicity for your fundraisers and for your charities, then you want the media to be front and center. But then when it comes to things like basketball matters, like Scott Brooks getting fired or Russell Westbrook taking a lot of shots, you don't want to talk to the media.
Okay.
There's two sides to the media. You have to you're gonna get the good with the bad, but it's not always bad. Kevin Durant has had no bad in his career. That's the thing. The only time I could think of anything bad being said about Kevin Durant is when in the finals people were saying he was not aggressive enough, but even people still gave him his credit because he averaged over 30 points and over 50% shooting. So it's like I don't know where it came from for him. It came from nowhere. Like he was on a nice campaign last year and then or 2 years ago, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm getting older now, so I don't feel like I need to be politically correct all the time and stuff. And I mean, that's fine. You're feeling more comfortable to be out there because your star is growing, but don't act like the media didn't help you get to where you are. Because imagine if there was no media and the basketball players just played. Imagine no media and we didn't know nothing about the basketball players. They didn't talk to us at all. Imagine how different that'd be. There's so many nice, great basketball players out there. Imagine there was no media coverage on these same basketball players. Who would they be? They'd just be nice basketball players. They wouldn't be celebrities, right?
Okay, but I mean, one person can't dictate how media be. I mean, just like a media can criticize somebody. Exactly. I feel like Kevin Durant or anybody can criticize the media.
No, Kevin Durant can criticize the media. That's perfectly fine. But when you attack their credibility, that's kind of
like attacking someone's basketball skills.
Nobody said anything about his basketball skills.
It's the same thing.
So nobody said anything about their basketball skills.
If Stephen A. said,
if he attacked his basketball skills, he would have
never lead his team to a championship. That's criticizing.
But did anybody say that?
I'm just saying. We would not be talking about the same way we doing if you challenge someone's journalism.
No, but I'm saying nobody ever said that about Kevin Durant.
I know, but
people have said that about Chris Paul. So if Chris Paul's like, But if Chris Paul responds to media and saying y'all don't know what you're talking about because it takes a team to win a championship,
It's
I
definitely
understand
justified.
that. That's different. But nobody has said that about Kevin Durant.
But just because somebody hasn't doesn't mean he has a different feel for the media.
No,
Think about it. Probably we don't know about the stuff he had in high school, stuff he had in Texas.
Yeah, at Texas, people were counting him out and stuff. And then even Skip Bayless was the one person that was supporting him. Then when Skip Bayless said Russell Westbrook takes too many shots, Kevin Durant came for Skip Bayless, so he didn't know he was talking about with basketball. When Skip Bayless was talking in favor of Kevin Durant, when Skip Bayless was Kevin Durant's one of his number one supporters coming out of Texas.
I mean, just because you're a supporter doesn't mean you like what he says, though. Because you're coming for his teammate. How does that?
You're coming for his teammate.
Think about the way how Kevin Durant was raised, though.
No, but here's the thing: you're coming for his teammate, but you don't. You can say, Skip, you know what? I disagree with you. I don't think you're right on this one. But then when you say somebody doesn't know anything about basketball, Rashad, you're discrediting their basketball intellect.
That's a
no, but that's not something you say.
It's just how they are.
That's not something you say. You don't, maybe that's just how they are. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. You can't just say you can't say that's how they are.
You can't turn a thug into a gentleman, something like that.
No, but so if Marshawn Lynch doesn't want to talk to me, you just say that's just how he is. You get
he's
fined
not
for it.
talking.
He does get fined for it, but he's not going to change what he is.
Evidently, he has because he's not getting no more fines for it. He talks now.
He actually did get a fine.
He talks now.
The NFC Championship game, he got
a fine. He got a fine for that. But I'm saying you realize
a year later.
You realize this season he talks now. This season, you realize
he doesn't talk that much,
bro. But he talks. He gives the journalists answers. You realize that, right? And not everybody is Marshawn Lynch. Not every player is as star as Kevin Durant or Marshawn Lynch. So you're setting an example of players that come after the line to say, "Oh, it's us against the media." Not every player is as great as
but
I'm saying you set an example.
In the league, their role models is not probably Kevin Durant.
No, it's not. But I'm not saying they feel like there are young kids that come into the league that might act the same way. Just because Kobe Bryant's not a role model of Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's not his role model, but there's a young player who sees Kevin Durant as his role model. It was like, well, if that's how Kevin Durant's feeling, that's how I'm feeling. That's just how people are. That's how kids are. That's how young people are. They're very influenced.
Impressionable.
Yeah, they're impressionable. And if you tell, if they see their role model acting a certain way, they might be inclined to act the same way. Recently, that's why they started the Players Tribune. So it's a way for the players to express themselves around the media, so they don't have to go through the media. But then when you're directly showing hate to the media, what's that telling everybody? It just gives the media a bad stigma that they don't always deserve. Stephen A. Smith did not. We're talking about just the Stephen A. Smith thing. He didn't deserve that. The other media members, as far as Kevin Durant goes, they didn't deserve that. For everything good that they've said about Kevin Durant, I don't know where he's getting the bad. Everything that you see on ESPN, on NBA TV, everything is just positive stuff about Kevin Durant. People always say that if Kevin Durant was healthy this past season, they probably would have went to the finals. People say 2 years ago, if Russell Westbrook was healthy, they would have went to the finals. Where is anything bad about that, about Kevin Durant? The only bad person I've heard stuff about from that team is Scott Brooks and Russell Westbrook. That is it. Kevin Durant's had nothing but great media attention and great publicity. That's all. So where does he get off saying people don't know anything about basketball? People don't know. People need the players. The players do deserve more.
That's a
deserve more worried about his teammates more so than worried about himself.
But I'm saying that has nothing to do with your teammates.
I mean,
when it comes to All-Star voting or MVP awards voting, that has nothing to do with your teammates. Those are individual awards. And he's right. Players do deserve more saying that because you guys play in and out. But don't just discredit the media by saying they don't know basketball. When you say people don't know something, that's like saying that's a
shot at their entire job.
That's a shot at what they're meant to do. And that's a shot at their intelligence. That's like somebody in music saying, "Oh, Kevin Durant, don't talk about music because you're not a musician. You don't know music because you're not a musician." But he could have been listening to music or a certain genre of music since he's young, so he feels like he knows something about it. So just because you're in a certain profession doesn't mean you can't know something about somebody else's profession, especially if your job is to cover that other profession. So where do you get out telling people they don't know? Of course, they're not going to see it from your perspective because you're a player. You're in it. We're not going to see musician's lifestyle. We don't know how Michael Jackson lived. We don't know how Elvis lived. We don't know how exactly those guys lived in the music, but we cover them so you get a good idea of how it is. You're not ever in their shoes, but you cover what it's like in their shoes. That's what your job is. So for him to attack somebody's credibility and pretty much try and discredit and pretty much lambaste the source that they got their information from, it's wrong. You can't do that. And especially you don't know where he got his information from. Somebody in your circle, you might think didn't tell him nothing, might have said something, bro. Somebody might have said something. You might want to especially if your mom was just on the show not long ago, and Stephen A. Smith said he had just talked to Kevin Durant periodically throughout this year, and you're saying you don't talk to him. How does that make you look?
That's really messed up.
But see, probably what he meant by talking to him doesn't mean like interaction, but talk about sit down and interview type things.
He said he just doesn't talk. He said none of us talk to him at all. So y'all don't talk to him whatsoever. But Stephen A. Smith said his mom talks to him. His brother Tony talks to him. Kevin Durant has talked to him throughout the. He talks to him when he's covering. He's at the Thunder games. I'm just like, hey, of course, maybe you don't exchange checks on the daily. Like, you're not best friends, but I'm pretty sure if you don't talk to somebody at all, like I don't talk to Kevin Durant. When I met Kevin Durant, he was cool, but I don't talk to him, so I can't go and put out a story about Kevin Durant and say, oh, it's entirely true, because I don't talk to him. I don't talk to people around him. But like Khalid had said earlier, you don't need to talk to somebody to report on them. All you need is a source that's talk to the person, that's gotten information about the person. You can talk to a team manager. You can talk to people there. They will tell you more. They know more so much about the team. Teammates will tell you stuff about a player. And then you're just like, that's why Stephen A. Smith said he will, if he goes back and starts working in arenas again, like reporting in arenas like he used to, he would find stuff out quicker than
in 10 minutes. Then
he would find out making
50
phone calls. So it's like, when that's somebody's job, it's just ridiculous because you can't. The media puts you where helped you get where you want to go. Your basketball ability got you there in totality, but the media helped your star grow. Yeah, the media helped your star grow, and they're just pretty much putting it on a global scale for everybody to see. If you were just a nice basketball player with no media, I'm pretty sure the endorsements would be coming out as much as fast as they were. When the media covers a bad situation that happens in the NFL or NBA, why do you think endorsements are lost so fast? When and Adrian Peterson abused his child, why do you think he lost his endorsement so fast? Because the media covered it. It's just a lot of hoy. That's exactly what it is. But moving on to that, we're gonna go to football. This past Sunday, man. Sheesh. Dallas and Philly. Oh my. These guys. They know how to lose a game late, that's for sure. Dallas allowed a 80-yard touchdown reception from Drew Brees to CJ Spiller in overtime to lose to the Saints. And then the Eagles allowed a late game touchdown from the Redskins, or for the Redskins to win over them. And that's a divisional game. So that game meant more to the Eagles than the Cowboys did a game against the Saints. So right now the division sits the Giants, Cowboys and Giants or Redskins are tied at 2-2 in the division.
No, Redskins is 1-3.
No, the Eagles are 1-3.
Okay.
And so there's a 3-way tie in the division. And so far, ever since Brandon Weeden starting for the Cowboys, he's lost 10 straight starts. So is it time for the Cowboys to make a change? Where's the division going? Let's start off with you, Colin. Where do you think the division is going? What do you think the teams need to do to get a lead in division and be able to make some ground against the other teams in their division?
I think right now it's looking very good for the Giants, seeing as the Dallas Cowboys are hurt. Brandon Weeden is adjusting to the Cowboys offense, but they're still not, performing at the regular Cowboys level, or they need to be at the time that Tony Romo's out and Des Bryant. Eagles, they're still not all together yet. Their team they just need to unify a little bit better. And we're not even going to discuss the Redskins because I mean they
balled against the Eagles last week.
Yeah, they did, but like you said before, it's a divisional game.
They limited the genius Chip Kelly offense. The genius.
They did their thing. But right now, I definitely see the Giants taking like the lead in the division for now. If Robo comes back and just when's his projected time to come back? Like week 6?
4 more weeks.
Oh,
that's possible.
That's possible.
That's not a guaranteed comeback.
I see the Giants definitely taking the division. If my man's Eli Manning don't have any more hiccups like he did the first 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely see them taking the division. Redskins, I see them getting a couple more wins with this hurt Dallas team. They're not bad or terrible. They're just not as good as they usually are. So them and just the Eagles need to get their stuff together. Or if they don't get their stuff together, then the Giants definitely will take the division lead.
All right, Rashad, let me know what you think.
Well, before I start, Kyler, you don't think the Redskins have no chance at all of making it?
No, I'm not saying they don't have any chance at all. I mean, they're just not looking the greatest.
So you're 100% saying Giants.
I'm not 100% saying Giants because anything can happen throughout the season,
So
especially during division
so who
games. I do
are you
think
going with to win the division?
I'm going to Giants. I'm just not saying 100%.
Okay. Cowboys. The Cowboys are. Well, we're a team for starters. We're a team. We're a team that can't hold it at the late stretch of the game right now. Now, the game against the Saints, we should have lost. We should have lost that before going to overtime. Honestly, he should have missed the field goal. But the defensive breakdown, that was a very bad defensive breakdown. Allowed CJ Spiller to have a wheel route out by himself, and basically that's from the replacement of Sean Lee, which was injured with concussion.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can't sit here and say if Sean Lee was in the game, that wouldn't happen, but that defensive breakdown wouldn't happen. But in the end, I still think technically we was going to lose that game regardless because he should have made that field goal before. So we was going to lose regardless. But see, that's the thing. We can't continue to stay in close games. Like these are two games. If Tony Romo was playing, honestly, there'd have been 2 wins based on how that game went.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tony Romo would have been able to deliver at least in the fourth quarter or third quarter, at least a touchdown or points in the second half. Brandon Whedon is struggling to do that right now. Joseph Randall didn't really help him out. Now he lost to Lance Dunbar, so the Cowboys are, just injury.
Yeah.
But having Greg Hardy and Rolando McClain come back, that gives back a leadership for linebackers if Sean Lee is still out, and that gives a defensive line presence with Greg Hardy. But as of right now, the way we're looking, I don't see the Cowboys winning the division right now. I have them actually. I feel like the way the Redskins are playing right now and the way the Giants are playing right now, both teams have a chance to win this division for how weak this division is. Our division is almost as weak as Carolina's was last year, which when a playoff team goes under 500 and makes playoffs, that's how you know you're weak.
No.
Yeah, it's rough. So,
okay, so if you think either Giants or Redskins can win it, right?
As of right now,
but you guys have lost games the same way the Giants lost their first 2 games.
With hiccups.
Y'all have had hiccups in the game. Have cost you the game.
Yeah, but see, the hiccups is like it's not the same hiccups as the Giants had. The Giants were still able to put points in the second half. We have not been able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We have not been able to really score in the second half of these past 2 games. That's not hiccups. That's just unproductivity.
Mm-hmm.
That's just late game performance.
Now it's not the line.
Well,
it's
think about Brandon Whedon's pick against in Atlanta.
Now that was a bad pick.
Mm-hmm.
That's just.
Mm-hmm.
I still say that even though he's played over 18 games as a starter, that's like inexperienced still.
Mm-hmm.
Because he only has 1 full season basically as a starter under his resume.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just, in my opinion, that's still inexperienced. That's still that's just trying to make a play, trying to be the hero at the wrong time of the game. At the wrong time of the game. That's when you throw the ball away. That's a play you don't try to force anything. You're not a quarterback known to be able to Brett Favre passes in there.
Mm-hmm.
And force in tight spots. You shouldn't try it.
Yeah.
Especially when a dude is sitting there right under it like that. All he had to do was jump up to get it. That shouldn't have been a play you tried. That was a hiccup. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But not being able to score in the second half when the Giants have been able to score both games, they blow it in some crazy way. It's completely different than what we're doing. Mm-hmm. If this trend continues, we're not going to score the second half. We're going to lose games.
Yeah,
we lose games. We're not going to make playoffs. It don't matter when Tony Romo and Des Bryant come back.
Yeah, if y'all don't win games while he's out.
And even though Des Bryant is expected to return before Tony Romo, I don't think he should.
Why?
Because I don't think Brandon Whedon can deliver enough to him as Tony Romo could. I'd rather him sit out, continue to sit out, continue to heal more, make sure it's completely 100%. So when him and Tony Romo come back, it's a lot better than his chance of getting re-injured, trying to come back early to help the team out with his impact. His impact will help, but I'm not sure how many points he can give you.
Okay.
That's true.
Well,
And Brandon Wheaton can't give the ball to him.
I agree with you because the Cowboys are just too hurt. Like they're just too hurt. You lose Lance Dunbar, and he was your most productive running back, torn ACL and MCL. Like it's just like this is how many injuries can a team just it's like the hurt season. Like you guys are just it's legit who's next up in line. Like Sean Lee has not, I don't know I don't remember the last season Sean Lee went through a whole season and was just healthy. Like it's always something. It's either shoulder, his knee,
but
ankle, concussion.
You can't
It's
really help that.
you can't help it,
No.
but it's just like the luck.
Yeah.
It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just the luck. Like it's just he's just always hurt. I mean, he's a great defensive player when he can play, but it's just like, man, like
see, and that's the problem for him. He's such a good defensive player that he's involved on every single play. When you're involved in over 50 plays a game, and I'm saying you're making 50 tackles now, but you're involved in over 50 plays, it's hard for you to not get injured.
But I'm saying, but Cam Chancellor and them are involved in a lot of plays.
They are involved in a lot of plays.
And they managed to stay healthy. This man has been injured for about 4 or 5 seasons straight, Rashad. That's not good.
Yeah,
it's not.
just bad luck.
It's just bad luck. To a point, I don't know if it's your body health. I don't know what it comes down to. It's just he goes through the whole. Pretty much, I feel like his whole season is just always training. It's always rehabbing. It's always a concussion. Granted, you don't know how long you're gonna be out. You gotta go through concussion protocols to make sure your brain's good and everything. So at least that's the one positive of this injury. At least, you know, he's not gonna be out for a whole season type thing with his past.
But
injuries.
it's a possibility though.
Yeah, it's a possibility. It's just one of those things. It's like, man, how many injuries can a team get? Like, thank the Lord you haven't had any offensive line injuries.
We just have
Who?
The La'el Collins.
Really?
Yeah, he just got injured this past game.
Oh.
So he actually didn't play because he was injured.
Well, at least, but he wasn't initially the part.
He wasn't originally starter.
Yeah,
actually started return.
Yeah, you see, so I'm saying, like, you guys had your legit starting offensive line. Now, if you lost one of those offensive linemen and La'el Collins was hurt, it's just like, man, like this is a battle of attrition. Like you just who's next? Who's next? Who we got next?
We're actually pulling people off the practice squad right now to play for us.
Yeah, that's bad. That's terrible.
So
that's terrible.
But I mean, at least we're not the Eagles, though.
You're not the Eagles, and that's the crazy thing because the Eagles are relatively healthy. I mean, DeMarco Murray's been struggling with his hamstring a little bit, but they've been relatively healthy. But yeah, they sit at 1-3, and yet they were supposed to be. Chip Kelly apparently has his guys. The guys he left. He let Deshaun Jackson go. You let Jeremy Maclin go. You let Jason Avant go. You let Nick Foles go. You let LaShawn McCoy go. You said you needed your guys. You have your guys,
and you're not producing.
You're 1-3. And you're supposed to be the genius offensive wizard. You're 1-3. The Giants are 2-2, along with the Redskins, and also the Cowboys. But we just talked about them and their injuries. For me, I feel like the Giants are more likely to win this division because of the fact of how they found a running back in Rashad Jennings. Like, this boy is producing. And, you know, they've been doing this without Victor Cruz. And they just having Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh, yeah, he's going off.
And they've been playing well, and their defensive line has been looking pretty aggressive also at stopping the run. But the only thing with me for the Giants is when teams hone in on Odell Beckham Jr., and then Rashad Jennings isn't producing all that well in the game.
How are they going to win?
Yeah, how do they put points on the board? Because the Giants go through spurts where they just can't get anything going. But the same can be said for the Redskins because, granted, they have a great running game with Alfred Morris and Jones in the backfield. They sometimes their whole offense is predicated on their run game. And if Pierre Garçon is locked up and Jordan Reed, who just got hurt in this past game, aren't producing, where are the Redskins going to go? And the Redskins have never been known as a big play team. They always just take little chunks. The Giants at least have the ability to take the lid off the defense. The Redskins have always been little.
And that makes me think, when Deshaun Jackson comes back for the Redskins and Victor Cruz comes back for the Giants, do they actually hurt or help the team? Because both of them players been injured. Both of them players, you know, are going to try to get back on the field as fast as they can, not be as productive as they possibly can. Would that actually hurt or help the team, or a team that already is playing with, that's winning now, that has chemistry, receiver, like quarterback knows who to hit. Their timing is better than someone who's coming off injury would be.
I think it's better. It helps the team.
Yeah, because that's still a great receiver.
Yeah,
but at the same time, they're not going to be a double coverage threat immediately. Victor Cruz ain't going to be the same Victor Cruz he was. It's just going to be like it's still going to be the same. He's still going to be on the other side instead of whoever the other receiver was.
He's not going to be the same guy, but you still have a level of confidence knowing you have that weapon looking to your left, that you have Victor Cruz over there. And it's not, and your timing you're still going to have to get used to the timing, but it's not like he still can't catch the ball.
Right.
It's not like he's still not going to be a great receiver. Deshaun Jackson is still a deep threat. He still has the speed. And I mean, all you got to do is throw the ball to him and hopefully he catches it. I mean, you just hope that your timing is off, that you throw a pick. That's the one thing, but they're still both crafty, speedy receivers. And then that just makes Odell Beckham Jr.'s job easier, and it makes Pierre Garçon's job
But
easier.
I don't see how it makes it easier because those two players won't get a double team.
No,
they will still get single coverage just like it is now.
But if they still get single if those players get single coverage, because they come
Odell
back
Beckham and Pierre Garçon will still
have
get
a
double
single
coverage.
No, they will still be double coverage,
single.
but then the other receivers can take advantage of their single coverage.
Yeah.
If you're telling me you're going to put just somebody's single coverage on Victor Cruz and Deshaun Jackson, I'm like, I'll take that. Deshaun Jackson's not a I'll jump over you or Victor Cruz. They're not I'll jump over you type of guys, like Moss, you kind of guys. But they're crafty enough that they'll lose a defender. And I'm like, hey, if Richard Sherman's not lined up across him with Darrelle Revis or Joe Hayden or somebody, I'll take that any day. I'll take them, even if they've been out for a while. I mean, those boys are still experienced and they've been Pro Bowl receivers. So I'll still take them, and they're still in their prime. So I'll take them single cover. And you want to single cover them, let them burn you?
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine with me. I'm getting the yard somehow. And then once they start burning you, the safeties, people don't know what to do with the safeties. So then the safeties start sitting over on top of both those guys. They sit on top of them. Your running backs get easier running lanes because safeties are all the way back, waiting on the deep ball, or they're sitting there double covering Victor Cruz or Odell Beckham Jr. or Pierre Garçon or Deshaun Jackson. So
leaving somebody in single coverage.
Yeah, so there's always going to be somebody open if you double covering somebody, and that's just on the Giants and Redskins to maximize on when they get those players back. But going on to the AFC, actually, the Colts this weekend just won a big game, won a divisional game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, Jaguars falling to 1-3. Colts 2-2. Man, Matt Hasselbeck had a great game.
Yeah, great game.
30 of 47, 282 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. He played a pretty good game. You know, normally not known for not throwing picks, and it's honestly funny because it's like because Rashad's been campaigning for the Jacksonville Jaguars for Lord knows how long, and just you missed 2 field goals that would have won. That's 6 points. The Colts won 16-13. That's 6 points. Make one of those, you're in overtime. So it's like, man, and what that does for them in the AFC South, if the Colts would have lost that game, Jacksonville would have been 2-2, and the Colts would have been 1-3.
They would have took the lead.
So they would have been leading the division. So it's like, what do y'all think about it? Just how the Jaguars just lost the game, and how big of a win it was for the Colts to win without Andrew Luck because he didn't play, and how big of a win it was, and what does it mean for them in the division race? Rashad, we'll start this one off with you.
It's clear that Myers is not the rookie Dan Bailey was. Dan Bailey didn't miss a thing when he was rookie season. He's already missed. See, that comes with him being a rookie. That's a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of nerves going through you right now that you have to beat the Colts, to snap their 14 divisional game win streak. You have to hit this kick. 53 yards for the first one.
Cool.
48, which those two are not easy field goals.
They're not easy.
They're both
goals,
not easy.
But man,
they would have been clutch.
Field goals, bro.
That's his job.
But
there's a lot of pressure with a rookie.
There's a lot of pressure, but that's your one job, bro.
You go to practice every day to kick,
to kick,
and then you kick and you
kick.
I'm not gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm gonna give him a little bit because what if it was the placeholder's fault? What if he didn't tilt the ball right away?
Rashad,
that affects a lot.
No, Rashad,
that affects.
You're really trying.
I'm trying.
But he goes out to kick
because I know he's a rookie, but I don't want to see him his contract get terminated right here.
You're really trying.
I try. I don't want to see his contract get terminated.
Look at this objectively.
Objectively, this loss hurts the Jaguars a lot because, like you said, it was a divisional game. especially against the Colts, who didn't have Andrew Luck.
That's when you got to.
That's when you got to take advantage. But Matt Hasselbeck played probably better, in my opinion, than probably what Andrew Luck would have played. The way Andrew Luck, you don't know, but the way Andrew Luck been playing right now, based on his past games,
a turnaround game for him.
Yep.
You never know.
He's on there.
And for them, they also lost their star linebacker midway through the game, so that hurt the Jaguars.
It did, but you missed
two field goals, and that shows how valuable a kicker is to a team. That those 2 field goals would have put you in first.
Okay, so what do you think this win does for the?
What I think this win for the Colts, I don't think it does anything.
Really?
I don't think it affects anything.
Well, the Texans sit at 1-3,
and they play them next.
The Titans are at 1-2, and the Titans are getting off the bye week, so they're 1-2. So the Titans win their next game, they're tied with
exactly.
Or theoretically, if the Colts, when their next bye week comes, then they'd be tied.
All 4 teams are struggling right now, and it's still early in the season, so it could be at any moment the Colts can hit a slump.
Mm-hmm.
The Titans can go on a run. The Jazz can go on a run. I mean, any team in the division can go on a run.
But here's the thing: which team is most likely to go on the run?
It's gonna be the Colts more likely to go on the run.
Wait, okay,
the Colts because they just won a game without their starting quarterback. Mm-hmm. Matt Hasselbeck played great, and it definitely shifted momentum in their favor, and it definitely put them at a kind of like a spirit that they know they can
win.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with 2 divisional games back to back, and they just won their first one.
But you're saying that winning without their starter, though, their starter would have been the reason they've been losing these past games for all the turnovers he's been having. He's been the reason they've been losing.
Okay, the win without him, though.
The win without them is.
But also,
you got to think about it. It's his starting quarterback for a reason.
He is the starting quarterback for a reason, but also in turn with that, he hasn't been getting the best protection.
And Matt Hasselbeck on that touchdown pass, he got laid out.
He did. He
played well though.
Notice how many attempts he had. He had 30
out of 47.
He made 30 completions out of 47 attempts and only had 282 passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
So that shows a lot of short passes.
Yeah.
While with Andrew Luck, he has more of the open playbook, so he has a lot of more deep routes and stuff too. And so with Andrew Luck, he has more of the open playbook. While Matt Hasselbeck, the backup, had a less open playbook and had a lot more.
And it worked.
Mm-hmm. And it worked.
It worked.
But I'm saying, but you can't say that Andrew Luck would have lost the game.
Mm-hmm. You can't say, but he's the reason they've been losing the past games, though.
I can't just put it on him. He's a big part of it, but I can't say
turnover by the quarterback. Turnovers by the quarterback is the reason why y'all blame Tony Romo for losing all those games past years.
Turnovers by the quarterback are a big part of it.
You said it a couple weeks ago. The quarterback, he plays a role. But when we was talking about the ODU and NC State game, and he was like, it's definitely still on that defense as well.
It is.
The defense played exceptionally well.
But if you're going back to ODU, Schuyler Bentley didn't really throw interceptions like that. Andrew Luck is. It's a difference.
Andrew Luck's turned the ball over, but you have to give your quarterback time to throw the ball. And the receivers and your running back have to be able to provide. Andrew Luck is all they have.
You have checkdowns, though.
You have
for when the pocket's crashing.
You do have.
Matt Hasselbeck utilized that.
No, Matt Hasselbeck was looking at the checkdowns initially. And his progression, Matt Hasselbeck started with the check down, his quick slant route, his tight end doing that little quick curl route, and then he went right to his check down. Andrew Luck goes through every progression, but you realize he only has like 3 to 2 seconds to throw the. That's not his fault. Ben Roethlisberger
he has the same line he's had other years though.
No, he hasn't.
No.
The coach line has been injured. They've been shifting people in and out of the offensive lineup or out of the offensive line. They've been moving pieces all around their offensive line. And so Andrew Luck has to sit here and keep getting adjusted to these new guys at different places that either they can block or they can't block well at that spot. Whatever reason, the offensive schemes are
different. But they still have to do. They're still paid to do what they do, though.
They're still paid to block. But I'm saying, but when you move around the offensive line, your role in a different spot, the offensive line changes dramatically.
It's more so for run, though. It's more so for a run block.
And
a pass block.
You're still an offensive line. You got to protect the QB.
Yeah, because you're right. You're right, Khalid. But at the same time, your job is to pick up. When you change spots on the line, your job goes from picking up. If you're the tackle, your job goes from picking up the end to you going to a guard. Your job is picking up the blitzing linebacker.
But I'm saying, but your job changes. Say you have to on a play, you have to cut block because it's a quick pass. That job changes if you're the right guard on the right side of the line and you become the left guard on the left sideline, your job changes. The right guard might not cut block,
because you're
but
used to it.
the left guard might cut block because that pass is going to that side. So you cut block on that end or that tackle over there because you're on the different side of the line. The pass protection might change where if you're on the right side, you block out, but on the left side, you block in. So it changes. Everything changes when you move places around the line.
Which more so affects the run.
Especially if you take a guard and you move them to center.
Which more so affects the run.
It affects the run.
More than it do the pass game.
But it does affect the pass
It does
game.
affect the pass game, but it affects the run more than it do the pass.
But I'm saying, and they haven't had an effective running game, so that puts more on Andrew Luck. That puts
they haven't never had the line for an effective run game.
No, they never had.
You got to think about the last time they had an effective run game was Joseph Adai.
No, but at least their line protected him. That's the thing. They at least gave him some time. And Andrew Luck's been the most sacked quarterback next to Cam Newton. So they at least gave him time to get the ball out of someone. And he had T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton just came back recently. He was hurt. And Matt Hasselbeck had T.Y. Hilton for this game, and he was hurt. So now you come back. Andrew Luck had to play without his best weapon. And then Reggie Wayne left this past season. He was going to work out for the Patriots. That fell through, but he left.
He wanted to get released.
Yeah, so he left, and now you don't have Reggie Wayne when you're experienced veteran. So it's a lot of pressure that goes on Andrew Luck. I mean, he has been a big part of because the turnovers are they're unexcusable, but you know why you get turnover. If you only get, there's a reason why Tony Romo's turnovers went down when he got a better line. There's a reason why Tom Brady doesn't throw as many turnovers because he gets the ball out quick. Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw many turnovers because he's able to get out of the pocket when it breaks down, so he won't force a throw. There's a reason why they don't throw.
So basically, Andrew Luck needs to change what he's doing in Indianapolis.
No, but I'm saying
he doesn't
it's not all on him.
No, it's not all on him.
He's not always going deep, but if you don't have time to throw the ball, your receivers aren't going to get time to get into the route.
We see what's effective in the league now. We see what a lot of teams are shifting to. They're shifting to a lot of the short passes.
But that's because they have the line to what do you call it?
That goes in your coach too.
Okay, so your coach should have like common sense to see if it worked with Matt Hasselbeck to get the win, regardless if the Jaguars or not, it's still a divisional game. If you manage to get the win doing short passes, what everybody in the league is doing, why can't Andrew Luck do it?
Because you have to have the ability to do that. You're playing like you said, you're playing the Jacksonville
Jaguars. Don't have the ability.
No, I'm saying, but you're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, a lesser talented offensive team. They played the Jets. A couple weeks ago, who has a stellar defense. You have Darrelle Revis on one side. You have Antonio Cromartie. So you do a lot of screens to those players. That could result in a lot of picks itself because those guys know how to jump the screens. In the Super Bowl, Brandon Browner had just jammed up a screen which allowed Malcolm Butler to get the Super Bowl game-winning pick because he jammed up a screen that was supposed to happen. So when you have Pro Bowl cornerbacks on each side of the ball, not that every team's gonna have a Pro Bowl cornerback, but it's hard to run just a standard screen or short passes when those guys see it coming.
So you think go deep then?
I'm not saying go deep, but you have to keep the defense off. You have to keep the defense honest by going deep. You can't.
So you make those run intermediate routes. You make the Richard Shermans, you make the Darrelle Reeves, you make the Joe Haydens, you make all of them run intermediate routes. You have your tight ends. You have your Kobe Fleener.
Okay.
Perfect example. You have a great tight end there, a great receiving tight end. Make him run the short routes. Who's matched up with a linebacker?
Okay, but here's the thing. He doesn't get enough time for those guys to even go in the routes half the time. He doesn't get enough time.
If you
legit watch Andrew Luck, no, sometimes they're not running deep routes at all. Sometimes the guys get jammed at the line because people know their line can't block. People jam the Colts receivers. They don't play off the ball. They jam them. So when they do press coverage, it takes more time for them to get out the routes. And if Andrew Luck drops back and there's already a defensive end or a nose tackle in the backfield, he's like, yo. And so he forces a throw that he probably shouldn't make because
he could make a play with his feet.
He could make a play, but Rashad, these guys he's a quarterback. Yeah. He's not Michael Vick. He's not RG3. He doesn't have breakaway speed. But he can scramble. He has the ability to scramble.
He's probably just as fast as Aaron Rodgers.
And
Aaron Rodgers can do it.
No, Aaron Rodgers can do it, but you're mixing up scrambling. Aaron Rodgers scrambles out when he sees the pocket starting to collapse. He still gets time, and the receivers still get time to get in their route. Andrew Luck, by the time his pocket starts collapsing, the receivers aren't yet open. The receivers aren't open yet. You gotta remember T.Y. Hilton has just came back from injury. So he hasn't had him this whole season. So he's been having primarily Kobe Fleener, Andre Johnson, who's also gone in and out with his injury. So it's like he's working with limited
open as quick as they can.
Yeah, so he's working with limited weapons.
Which is why you change your play style.
But that's on the coach.
Yeah,
that's on the coach. That's not Andrew Luck.
It's not.
That's why the losses aren't all on Andrew Luck. Some of that is on the coach.
It's still on his turnovers though.
No, it's still his turnovers.
It's on the play calling. but it's also on the turnovers.
But
Same thing with
it's
the
on
Cowboys.
every
It
aspect.
was on
of
Jason Garrett as offensive coordinator, and it was on Tony Romo for throwing interceptions.
But
according
yes,
to
but
everybody.
we can't say it's mostly Andrew Luck's fault. He plays a big
Yeah.
part in it, but your coaching plays a
Two
part in it.
turnovers a game is a big part of it.
But your coaching plays a part of it. If your
Jameis
coach
Winston,
sees something
are
not
those,
working,
Are those losses on him?
those losses,
Him throwing 3
not
or 4
all the
interceptions?
not all the
Him
losses
throwing 3
losses
or 4
on him.
interceptions?
They're not all on Jameis Winston.
Which some are pick
Some
sixes?
interceptions we've seen that can happen as if a receiver hits the ball in his hands and it bounces up in the air, which some of Andrew Luck's interceptions have been,
Yeah.
and some of
then
Jameis's
the
have been
other team
too.
gets the ball and they progress up the field.
But that's not the quarterback's fault.
It's still a turnover on the quarterback.
It's a turnover on the quarterback. We've all acknowledged that's not. It goes on the court. It's a
but it's
turnover
not on
stat.
them.
But if the wide receiver if it hits the wide receiver right in their hands and it bounces up and lands in a cornerback or a defensive player's hands and they intercept it, that's not a quarterback's
That's
fault.
just
But it
coincidence.
just records on the quarterbacks. That should be a wide receiver turnover.
Yeah.
I wish they would change it so you can see it's a wide receiver turnover instead of a quarterback turnover.
Because at that point,
wide
it's not
receiver
enough
drop.
QB's hands.
Yeah, because he threw a perfect ball to you and you just merely dropped it.
Even though it's not in the quarterback's hand, every pass is not in the quarterback's hands. So technically, every interception, what you're saying, Khalid, wouldn't be on the quarterback.
No,
though.
that's not what I meant. Like, not literally in his hands, but like it was in his control at that point.
Every ball is not in his control after the ball is released. After the ball is released, it's up for anybody. After the ball released, nobody's on offense. Nobody's on defense. After the ball's released, everybody's a receiver on the field when the ball's in the air. Who go up and gets it is the real question.
But y'all, we're gonna move on to the next topic because we could talk about that for forever. But we're gonna talk about the Cardinals and the NFC West division. Are the Cardinals the best team in the division, sitting at 3-1 right now after just suffering a loss to the St. Louis Rams?
They're still the best team in the league.
Said the best team in the league. So even after the Seahawks won last night, you think the Cardinals are still the best team in that division at least? Yes. You're going all the way to the league.
They're still the best team in the division.
They're better than the Seahawks.
They're better than the Seahawks.
Better than the Packers.
Their defense is on the same level as the Seahawks defense, and the offense is better than the Seahawks. Mm-hmm. So they're better than the Seahawks.
Are you really sure the offense is better than the Seahawks?
The offense is better.
You think they will get consistent running production out of Chris Johnson throughout this whole
season? Andre Ellington coming back next week.
Even Andre Ellington.
He was productive before he got hurt.
He was with them. I'm saying
actually every running back that's played this season has been productive for them. But, even though it's just been mainly Chris Johnson, most carries.
But you also got to take into account that the Seahawks have dual running threats. The Seahawks have Marshawn Lynch when he's healthy, and Russell Wilson as a threat when he's healthy.
But that's it, mainly.
No, but that's all you need.
Their passing threats aren't as big.
No, but I'm saying as their rushing threats, their passing threats. Their passing threats. I mean, you got Jimmy Graham, you got Jermaine Kearse.
Jimmy Graham's barely getting used.
But he's still a threat on the field.
He is a threat.
He's still a threat on the field.
They use him as a blocker, which is why he hates his role there. He probably hates his role more than DeMarco Murray hates his role in Philadelphia.
But what weapons do the Cardinals have that are more dangerous than the Seahawks? I mean, Jimmy Graham's a big deal. Jermaine Kearse, Doug Baldwin, Chris Matthews.
There's a lot of names. There's a lot of decent receivers in Seattle. But for Russell Wilson, he's not using them like he should have. He's not using them like he's been using them to make those Super Bowl runs. They're not the team that you once were. That's why I don't think they're better than Arizona. They wasn't better than Arizona Cardinals last year. Arizona Cardinals got hurt.
Mm-hmm. So you think the Arizona Cardinals would go to the Super Bowl over the Seattle Seahawks
last year? If I would stay healthy, honestly, yes. Honestly, Seahawks shouldn't have been in the Super Bowl to begin with. The game against the Packers.
Oh, statement.
The
interception was like wishy-washy.
I'm glad the Packers got robbed.
What do you think about it, Khalid? What do you think of the Cardinals and what their place is in the division? And are they the best team in the division?
Are they the best team? That's tough to say. It's still early. I mean, they just lost one game, and the Seahawks have been playing without Cam Chancellor. He did definitely put the defense where it needed to be at, and not got them their wins, but they're looking a whole lot.
I honestly say they won that game
because of Cam Chancellor.
Because when he forced that fumble out of Calvin Johnson,
which shouldn't have been a win.
Who knows?
Which shouldn't have been a win.
We don't know.
You can't really say it.
You don't know because at the end of
the 1 yard line.
At the end of the game, the Seahawks have one of the best red zone defenses. But at the end of the game,
at the 1 yard line,
Cam Chancellor batted the ball out of Calvin Johnson's hands when he was reaching for the goal line, which caused a fumble. So the ball's bouncing in the end zone, and then one of the Seahawks linebackers comes and tips the ball out of bounds, which is an illegal play. It's illegal. You can't
illegal
bat the ball
Mm.
out of bounds. You can't hit it
Ball
out of
go back
bounds.
to the lines.
But the ball is already on its way out of bounds. So, but it's also a toss in the air because you don't know if it would have made its way fully there.
Rules and rules.
So the rule is the referee should have called the fact that it was an illegal bat, and the Lions should have got the ball at first and goal, first down at the goal line.
At 1 yard line.
But
don't include that.
I said the goal line.
No, you gotta say the 1 yard line. Don't say the goal line.
It don't matter. It's still goal.
So, but instead, the Seahawks got the ball
plays.
with pretty much enough time to run out the clock. So he's assuming that the Lions would have scored on first when they would have got the ball back, and the would have resulted
would have been ahead of them,
which would have resulted in the Seahawks loss.
Mm.
I can't say that for sure. You don't know they would have scored because they have one of the
fumbled.
They have one of the best red zone defenses, at least when Cam Chancellor's in the lineup.
But you have 4 plays to get 1 yard.
You have 4 plays, and we've seen people not do it.
We have.
Yeah, that's true.
We've seen people not do it.
You have first play is going to be. Of course, you know what the first play is going to be. It's going to be a jump ball to Megatron.
Mm-hmm.
You can't completely crash a box and have single coverage on him over there on a jump ball.
But they would not. They don't crash the box. The thing with the Seattle Seahawks defense, that's why their defense is so great in the red zone. And the Lions aren't that great of a running team at that. So they're more inclined to pass in the red zone. And when they're more inclined, you're gonna throw a jump ball to Megatron when you either have Earl Thomas.
He's been doing his thing though. They're in Detroit running the ball.
They haven't run, bro. Their rushing numbers have not been great.
He's averaging like 3-4 yards a carry.
3 yards a carry is not great, bro.
3 to 4 for a passing team is really good.
It's all right. If on 10 attempts, if on 10 rushing attempts, you get 40 yards, you're gonna average 4 yards. So that's pretty easy to say. Oh yeah, he's averaging 4 yards. But if you're not running the ball effectively the whole game, because it's more than one running back running the ball.
You're right.
So if you're more inclined to throw the ball, even if you score and you're throwing the ball, you're more likely to leave time on the clock for Seattle to retaliate on the other side on offense. So if you're leaving Seattle time to retaliate on offense, and Seattle had their timeouts, Lions had no timeouts. So Seattle has time to go down the other side of the ball, other side, and drive the ball at the field. Lord knows if they would have done it, but we can't just say that the Lions would have automatically scored. You can't take that out of Seattle.
Even if they didn't score, okay, put it this way: even if they didn't score, the game would have went to overtime. It was 13-10 final score. Kick the field goal. He'll miss a 17-yard field goal.
These kickers.
The old school extra point. No.
The old school extra point.
The kickers. You can't even say extra points for sure.
No,
anything.
I
see people miss 18 yards. I see people miss 18 yards in this day and this like now NFL, the current NFL line of kickers. I don't know what's going on with the Josh Scobies of the world. With your boy from Jaguar.
Don't mention his name around me.
Yeah, you see all these kickers are costing their players games. I don't know honestly if it would have been a definite. They probably most likely would have went to overtime if they would have got stopped on 3 downs. But granted, I can't say definitely the 3 downs. The turnover doesn't occur. See, there's so many things I can go into.
They could have won in overtime.
AA was averaging 3 yards a carry that game. About
3 yards a carry. That's not great.
That's still you only need 1.
That's not great.
Like the Seahawks, all you need is 1.
What do you mean all you need?
If he's averaging 3 a carry.
No, but I'm saying if you're averaging 3 a carry, then there's a lot of less carries. There's a lot of carries that you're getting there below 3 yards also. So
but how do you know he's not getting a carry? Oh, you're right. Okay,
exactly.
So you're saying he basically breaking a run out.
Yeah, so he broke a run out probably, but you're averaging a lot of 3 yards.
He can have good runs, but then he'll have
like you can break a big run, but then if you have that one run, you can see the longest run they have in the stat sheet. You see their longest run, and then you see the rest of the runs, and it's all like 2, 2, 1, 1. Then you're just like, and even some of them for loss, but you can't say for sure, especially when there's more linemen out there to stop the run.
So you have more lines out there to block for the run. You
do have more linemen out there to buffer run, which is your normal set anyway. Your normal set is Calvin Johnson out there with you can only got 4 or 5 down linemen or 6 down linemen actually in your tight ends, and then you have another receiver out there. That's what they normally come out with in their offensive sets. So you already had that. And the Seahawks have been stopping your run with only 4 down linemen. And you telling them to put more big people out there just take up space. Just take up space. That's all linemen do. Offensive linemen get paid to get in the way. Defensive linemen paid to go get something. If you think about it, that's all they do.
That division should be Arizona, then Seattle. Not Seattle, then St. Louis.
I can't.
Ooh.
The Rams because of their
know.
consistency, I can't say that they deserve to be
They should be
second.
in the division because they haven't shown. Even though Todd Gurley, watch out, man.
No touchdown.
Todd Gurley came through. He could have had a touchdown, but he was wise and slid at the end of the game when he was running. He broke a big run, could have scored a touchdown. He slid to run the clock out.
How do you think fantasy owners felt about that?
He ain't playing for the fantasy.
He playing for himself.
He playing for W.
He just cost somebody $2 million probably.
He ain't worried about them fans.
Yeah, he ain't worried about them.
He cost somebody $2 million.
It's their fault for putting him on their team. Shoot, cheap asses. Why don't you go get Adrian Peterson? Put him on your team.
Right.
You can't afford that team you had if you go get Adrian Peterson because he costs too much.
Oh,
Todd Gurley cheap. Todd Gurley didn't play. He's probably the cheapest running back you can get.
Well, that's not. Hey, he got you.
Hey,
he got you
doesn't
140 something rushing yards. That's
14 points out of that. That'd have been 20 points. Would have been huge. The point is, Arizona Cardinals is the best team in the division. And they're still the best team in the league.
I think it's still kind of shaky because it's still early.
Yeah.
And then Seahawks do got Cam Chancellor back, so he can kind of swing either.
Cam Chancellor don't make the offense play better.
I understand that.
Offense still been bad.
Defense
But the defense was horrible.
Defense wins championship. Offense wins games.
Does.
It's all about getting games right now.
They winning games since Cam Chancellor came back.
Barely. They shouldn't have won.
They won it
A
too.
win's a win, right?
They should be 1-1 since Cam Chancellor's return.
A win's a win, right?
1-1.
So win,
Can't say they should be. They are 2-2. But y'all, that's gonna wrap up the show. You have fun. Check us out every Tuesday and Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. You can also watch our past shows on the KBR Sports YouTube channel. You can follow us on Twitter at KBR_sports. And we'll get up with y'all on Thursday. Thanks for tuning in.
And how's the back?